Hello, everybody. This is Carla again, and this time I have for you all a review of episode 4 of season 3 of Sleepy Hollow, which is titled The Sisters Mills. And I have to say, any episode that focuses on the relationship between Abby and Jenny immediately gets an A plus from me. Like, I know I love the relationship. I don't think it got nearly enough of a focus in the previous season, and I just things have been so complicated for them, and I love reminders that their relationship is still going strong even after all the ridiculous things they've been through. So like if you had to ask me for my favorite relationship in the show, I mean, obviously Abby and Ichabod, their friendship is kind of the core of the show, but the second one would be Abby and Jenny, because first off, they're both kick-ass, okay? They're both amazing characters in and of themselves, but at the same time they're so different and they're so similar. Like they have this kind of bond, but at the same time their differences kind of, repel each other in a way, but they are both so great. They both just so honest and so, wanting the good for everybody basically, and wanting to do the right thing, and they're just so great. That came from Corbin, I know, but I love it when they kind of touch upon the things that make them similar and things that make them different. And this episode was a really good way to touch on that, because at one point, on one side they have the whole deal with the little girls who are sisters, and it reminds them of themselves, and like they both know that they want these little girls to be okay because they're kind of avatars of themselves in a way. And on the opposite side, then you have the whole deal with their father and how differently their positions are regarding that. And I thought it was just a great episode. Last week I wasn't terribly happy with the episode last week, but this one I really liked, and a big part of that was the fact that it focused on Abby and Jenny's relationship, because they are great characters, and I love it when they touch upon the bond that is between them, because it is such a strong bond. Like, they're so close despite the fact that they were apart for such a long time. But it's because they have similar goals, they have similar mentalities, and even though they don't agree on everything, they want to care for each other. They don't want to be apart anymore, and I think it's great. Another thing that I really loved about this episode was, the monster whose name I can't pronounce, but the tooth fairy monster. That thing was freaking scary. Okay, I am. Let me put it this way. I am a grown-ass woman, and I was freaking terrified when that thing popped up in the closet of that little kid. Like, I was, his mother kind of was like, yeah, there's nothing in there, and then she closed the closet door, and then she went out so the kid would sleep, and he saw the thing again. Like, he looked at the closet door, and then he actually got off the bed and went to check the closet. I was like, oh my god, kid, you deserve like a medal, because I'm freaking 30 years old and I would not do that. I would get the hell away from that closet. And that kid, I mean, I was screaming at him, like willing for him to listen to me through the screen, because I was terrified for him, and that thing was so scary. It was so creepy. And the monsters in Sleepy Hollow, I know it's TV and budget issues and blah blah blah, and sometimes the monsters are just not that great. But this one, it didn't even, I mean, we never really saw it in the light. So, of course, it might not have looked that great, but just the way they used him. God, the way it crawled around and it could twist itself like it was like an exorcism kind of thing, and that I just found it really scary. Really scary, and I know I'm such a wimp, but I might actually dream about that thing today. And that freaks the hell out of me. It was really scary, and I really liked, because usually these monsters they just kind of bring it out of nowhere, like it's not related to anything at all. But this one managed to be creepy, and if they're gonna do that, then heck yeah, I want them to keep doing that. Another one of my favorite things is I've been waiting for Betsy Ross to come back because last time she wasn't in the episode, but I really like her. I don't know why. I mean, I don't even particularly like Nikki Reed. I think the only other thing I've ever seen her in it was like the Twilight series and like one or two of the movies because I never saw all of them. But I don't know. I really like her in this role. I think she comes off as strong and she comes off like she's taking a stand unlike a lot of the other women of the period are presented. And I like the idea that she was willing to kind of push Ichabod aside momentarily because she was like her focus was on her niece and her niece alone. And I thought it was a nice mixture of someone who is strong but vulnerable at the same time because she was so worried about her niece and about her little nephew. I mean, you could see it on her face. She was really worried, and I thought that was nice because even after that, she didn't seem weak. I really liked the way they did that scene. I liked the fact that poor Revere turned out to be like, midnight rider / blacksmith / dentist / monster killer. I mean, come on, how many things did that guy do? But apparently, I mean, it worked. I like the idea that his dentistry instruments could actually be put together to form a weapon. That was kind of funny. I mean, it wasn't terribly surprising, but it was funny. And the whole thing with the silver nitrate of, again, chemistry. Yay, I like chemistry. So I like that. I didn't quite get what the thing was. I mean, it was explained a bit too fast. Like, were they attracting the thing with the nitrate and then like throwing nitrate at her and blowing it up so that it would make like a burst of light? Couldn't they just wave a flashlight at it? Like, I don't know what the point was. Was it just the nitrate? Like, it had to be nitrate, I guess. I mean, I know they tried it that way because that's the way Paul Revere did it, and it worked for him, so I might as well just use that. But I'm just wondering if the point of it was for the thing to be illuminated enough that they could see it. I don't know, maybe I just missed something. I wouldn't be surprised because it really was very fast, and I was kind of fangirling about the silver nitrate thing. So I might have just, tuned out at the wrong moment. But yeah, I liked it, and again, the thing was freaking creepy, so I don't even need to buy the entire thing. As long as the thing was creepy, I'm sold. And just in general, the only thing about the Betsy Ross thing that I don't quite understand is, when is this happening? Like, I'm going to guess this is before Ichabod got married, duh. But, like, how early was this? Because, he was, like, totally into Katrina, like, pretty much up to the moment he died. So this must have been, I would assume that this must have been quite early on, like a long time before Katrina even was in the picture, because otherwise that's kind of a quick turnaround, right? I wouldn't want it to be like that. But again, if that is before, then I'm really hoping that they do something with Betsy, like bring her into the future somehow. Because I would like to see their story actually have a good resolution, or I mean, not necessarily a good resolution, but some resolution, because otherwise we know that nothing really, like, things just didn't happen for them, because later on Katrina came and Ichabod was all about her, so obviously their story went nowhere. And I would like to go somewhere, because I think they have good chemistry. I don't know. The new lady, what's her name? Zoe, I think. I like her too. I like that she's helping Ichabod. I don't quite know where that is going. I mean, I'm guessing eventually they'll go out at some point, because, you know, the whole thing with the teasing and the texting and the blah blah blah. By the way, Ichabod on an anesthetic, brilliant. Okay, when the Bitmoji thing came up, I freaking died laughing. Okay, that was so funny. And I mean, I like seeing him text, because it means that he's kind of gotten used to the modern world, and that's neat, because hey, progression, yay. So yeah, I don't know where that thing with Zoe is going. I would like to see her again at some point, because I don't think we got enough of her. But I mean, either way, I don't know. I would prefer for him to, like, for Betsy Ross to somehow make her way to the present, to actually have a relationship with Ichabod, rather than it being some other new person who's not involved. Speaking of new people, though, I have to say I'm really happy that Joe and Dan have made their way to the opening credits. Mainly Joe, because I really like him, and I think it was cool of him, like, at the beginning of this episode, that he's actually getting involved in the team. Like, he's looking at things that happen and not taking, like, the cover story for granted, you know? Like, he knows if the little girl says she saw a monster, that it might be true, and it might be in their best interest to call in Abby and Jenny, and Ichabod. So, I like that he's participating. He was even in, you know, in the car with Ichabod, like, being part of an actual mission. So, yay! I say involve him. I like Joe. He's awesome. We didn't see much of Dan, but whatever. I'm not, I'm not all into him yet. Like, they have to give me more to go on before I start warming up to him. But Joe, I love Joe. I'm all up for them bringing him in, because I think he's pretty cool. And then there's Pandora, which, quite interesting. I mean, I've been wanting for them to tell us a little bit more about her, and this was it, kind of. I mean, I guess it could still be just kind of her making up a story. I'm not entirely sure that she is who she says she is, but it's interesting that she has a backstory like that. You know, that she was abused by her father and then sold into slavery, and then she got a lion to eat her father. I thought that was interesting. I mean, it speaks a lot of how tortured she must be, and how much of a desire for revenge she could have. I like that she's not the Pandora of the Greek myth, by the way, because I've always, it's a tale that I like the idea of the tale, I don't like Pandora in it. So I like that it's kind of a Pandora where she kind of takes on the mythological name because of the implications of the box and the monsters, but she's not necessarily that Pandora. And I like that they go with the Sumerian thing, because, again, the tablet and the prophecy and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, she uses a name that people are familiar with because of her MO, basically. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the myth happened the way the name would have us think. So I like that because I'm really into Greek myths, and I like it when things make sense. So if the tablet is Sumerian, then she should be Sumerian too, I guess. It makes sense to me, so I like that. And I like that we got a little bit more of an insight into her. And I like that we know that she's not necessarily, like, it's not that she wants to kill Abby and Ichabod. Maybe it's more that she wants to torture them or something. Like, Ichabod thinks that she wants to create mass panic or something. Like, that's her goal. But obviously, like, it's not about killing them because she was right in Abby's room. And she didn't kill her, she just talked. So, that's interesting to see what she's going to do, what she wants, and why does she need to create mass panic at all? And how do the witnesses fit into that? Like, is she trying to make them into the destroyers, or is it something where they have to make a choice so that she doesn't win? Because if she wins, then they destroy the world, something like that. I don't know, but I really liked it today. The little girls were adorable. The little boy was fantastic. I love the little boy. He's got more balls than a ton of grown-ass men I know. So, that was great. Ichabod in the school, I laughed so hard. And by the way, he never actually told the kids that Paul Revere was a dentist. I would have liked to have him tell them and then have the kids be like, oh, you're lying. That would have been interesting. Bitmoji, fantastic. I loved it. It was just a really enjoyable episode. It was creepy, it was intense, it was emotional. It dealt with the characters' relationships very well. It used the flashbacks really well. Like, I really, really loved the superimposition of when Betsy Ross and Paul Revere were kind of doing the procedure, and then Ichabod in the present time thinking, God, I wish I knew what happened back then behind closed doors. That was very interesting. And like the scene at the end, of course, when Betsy Ross is just like, Ichabod, you're an idiot, stop thinking, give in. I guess I'm hoping to see the progression of that. I'm really hoping that they bring her to the future, and I'm actually quite interested in knowing what Abby and Jenny are going to do about their father, because Pandora knows about their father, so I wonder if that's kind of a trap somehow. But I guess we'll see. I'm really interested seeing if if Abby does go talk to him. I hope if she does, it happens soon, because I don't like them leaving me hanging for that long, but I'm really curious about that. And yeah, it was a really enjoyable episode, entertaining, funny, heartfelt, creepy. It had a little bit of everything, and I'm really glad for that. Glad that we got to see some more insight into the characters, their relationships, more insight into the villain, and it was just all around good. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my review now. Remember, if you guys want to see more reviews of Sleepy Hollow, you can go to our website at thegeekypub.com. You can also find over there like tons of other reviews for other stuff, like other TV shows, movies, books. We have a bunch of stuff in there, so be sure to check it out. And I guess I'll see you in my next review, so bye.